Hey, yo, what's up, people? TeaRon here. Welcome to another episode of the Ubiquitous Blacks Podcast. I am one half of your co hosts, and the other half, Florin YP. He's not here this week, but don't worry, got some cool stuff here in store for you. What you're about to listen to is our first official interview of the Ubiquitous Blacks Podcast, and I have some amazing guests, yo. You got to check this out.
All right, guys. So this is mind blowing for me. I'm excited about this because this is technically the first interview you're going to hear from the Ubiquitous Blacks Podcast. And I'm excited about this one. I actually have a duo here. So I'm getting like a 2-for-1 special because these people are incredible on their own, but we have to get them together because it's even greater together. So as you know, I'm TeaRon, TeaRon, period. And today I am here with none other than, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? My name is Brian Vickers, aka Chad the Cool Cat, if you're on social media, aka DJ Old Socks. That's for another day. And I am one half of Bamadelphia. I'm sure my wife is going to side eye me when she gives her in, but yeah, I'm one half of the duo Bamadelphia. I'm the part that's from Alabama, and I'm going to go ahead and let Delphia get jiggy with it as well.
Hi, I'm Lydia René, and I am the Delphia half of Bamadelphia, singer-songwriter, commercial actor, plus size model,
keep it going.
All that great
keep
stuff.
It going.
No, I'm not gonna keep going. That's it for now. Mommy.
Yeah.
Yes, mommy. Come on, new mommy.
Wife.
Hashtag.
That's it.
Dang, I think I left out some biological stuff in there too.
Oh, go ahead. You can say it. Go ahead.
That would make me the dad too.
Oh my God.
As far as I forgot to, put resume in there, but I am an occasional musician and an occasional producer as well. And I work in music supervision. So that's fun.
See, yeah. Like, okay. First of all, let's get this out the way because this is something we have to talk about, even though I don't want to. So I'll keep it on the light side of it. How's y'all's quarantine going?
Oh man, Lydia, how's quarantine going?
Why even say anything if you're gonna just push it to me? I think it's going fine. I mean, better than expected, I guess. We're here. We haven't, drove each other crazy yet, but we're not getting as much rest as the people without children. But other than that, we just here chilling.
Yo, let me tell you something about that timing. That timing was everything. Like, you got into the hospital, had that baby, got out before all this crap was starting, and then you was just at the house. Like, it kind of fell into place.
It did. And the funny thing is the baby was early. So realistically, we could have been cutting it a little bit close because that was right around the time where people probably were getting sick and hospitals didn't know it. And it could have been an L. But I mean, I think the quarantine is cool. I know, right? Yeah, she said,
let's go ahead and get this out the way because
pretty much, yeah.
She's a
but
busy
quarantine's cool. It's coming along. We're not, like Lydia said, we're not killing each other, which is a great thing.
Right.
We find ways to just kind of keep light and not, because I know when you're in the same space with somebody, you learn really quickly how much you like them or don't. So yeah, I think it's cool.
You know how many married couples are just now realizing like, I don't like you.
Man, yeah.
Why are you chewing that? Why are you sneezing so much?
That's a thing.
Like, that's a thing. You start to realize stuff that you didn't get to realize because you were busy working. That's scary, yo.
Right. It is, man.
Yo, how come so I get most of my, and you often don't know this, but I get most of my like streaming recommendations from y'all because I'm metal on like Facebook and stuff.
Who knows?
And so but you know something? I refuse to watch that Tiger King crap.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it.
All right.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it, man.
We can get into why you should or shouldn't watch Tiger King.
Right.
But
Why do you think
all
so?
the
Why do you
answers.
think one should?
Why? Number one, what else are you doing?
Right.
You know, I mean, not you personally, but like, I mean, it's a quarantine. This would be the time where realistically you could watch the whole thing and not say anything to anybody about it, and
True.
you know, and just be
Right.
good to go. But it's compelling stuff. If you like trashy television or crazy people, or randomly, if you like animals, maybe, you know, like there's something in there for everybody, man.
True. I mean, I think what was so compelling was the story. Like, the characters are crazy. The story is unbelievable and so outlandish that it feels like it shouldn't be true, but it is. And it's a
And
documentary.
that's what I heard. But I just was like, everybody was telling me the stories and stuff, and I seen like basically I got the full gist of the whole program from memes.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I
mean,
was
that's
like,
real.
this ain't black enough for me.
Like,
And so I just I'm good. I'm good.
You should
I don't
do
know if I
it.
could be
I think
convinced.
you should do it. You know why? I think that you should watch it because it's not black at all. And the next time somebody goes, man, those black people are really something else, you can go, Tiger
Well,
King.
actually, Carol Baskins.
Yeah. Check on your girl C. Baskin, man. Check on your boy Joe Exotic, man. What's up? And those are only two of the characters in this world of, like, it's like the Marvel cinematic universe of insane individuals, man.
I
Like,
thought
there's
I
something
thought
for
you were gonna
everybody
say
there.
incest.
No,
I
I'm sure
mean,
maybe.
that's the
Who
only
knows?
thing we didn't see.
Who knows?
Everything
Yeah.
but.
That's season 2.
I mean, really, my man from South Carolina, he probably had a little of that going on.
I
Baby.
know,
Ooh.
right? Yeah, like for
He had a
real.
combine of women living on the campus with him, taking care of the tigers.
See.
A harem, like it was
Yeah.
normal. Like, oh yeah, you know, oh man, that's just the chicks. They cool.
Right.
Wait, what?
But I thought he was like marrying guys or something. Isn't that like
Nah,
Well,
that's Joe.
Joe Exotic. We're talking about
Okay.
the other trainers in the film. Well,
See,
series.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, so
yeah.
so it's not about the one guy with the mullet. It's about a
It
group of
is,
people.
but there's so many different pieces to the puzzle and so many
Right.
different trainers and
Oh,
And
there's the baby. Yeah, there's our she watched it by proxy.
giving her input, right?
Yeah,
She's
pretty
like,
much,
look, don't
yeah.
watch that. TeaRon, don't watch
Right.
that.
It's wild,
Yo.
man. But Mhm.
I well, actually, I haven't really been on quarantine in real life because I actually been outside almost every day because I had to. Now you all in LA, okay?
yeah.
So that's different. I'm in and out of LA when I have work. If I ain't working, I'll be
Flex.
trying to get up through, right? So
right.
So I actually have been outside for most of the days, and I can't find a mask or anything. I'm scared, y'all, because I had to
Snap.
get a little job in the meantime
That's real.
Right.
That's fair.
because
Yeah,
everything
you
got
gotta
canceled,
eat.
right?
Yeah.
So I had some gigs lined up for like the Kentucky Derby, scenario
Nice.
because everybody's coming in, and you can book things all around that. Of course, all that was out, and I was like, oh man, now because rent don't get the virus,
Oh no.
That's true.
No, that's fine. Yeah, that's super real.
So I was like, okay. So I actually applied for a job like back in like February or something, and they said, okay, you're gonna start on March the 20th, and I was like, cool. Little did I know March the 20th was all this gonna be crap going on, right?
Right.
So I applied for a job, and I thought, oh man, all this is going on. They're gonna call me and say, it's gonna be held off or something. It was like, oh no, we're
Dang.
essential, bro. You can go ahead and come on in and start.
Wow.
So I've
Is it an
actually been out.
essential situation?
I know, right?
Well, here's how they finesse the situation. So really, we all could be working from home. I work for right now an internet service provider. It's not my thing. I hate it. But everybody's at home. Everybody's working from home. Kids are doing schoolwork from home and stuff, So it's like
Shoot, yeah.
they use that and they're like, oh no, we gotta stay open. And I'm like, man, but then they have like a handful of people who have been there for a long time. All those people get to work from home. But if you came in new, they're like, oh, you got to be here for 6 months. I was like, do you think the virus cares if we're new, yo? But I'll say this. I won't say their name, but they're like the number 2 like internet service provider out there. So they should have already had this stuff in place way before a pandemic, right? So I blame them for the fact that I haven't been able to keep up with all y'all's Netflix recommendations. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you're trying to make money. So
I know, right? Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Like everybody, we just out here watching stuff so that we don't just, break everything. You know what I mean? Like you're actually doing a good thing by working. So
right. Well, here's the thing. You're married to a superstar. So I know she getting them checks over there. You know what I'm saying? You got to be good for some time. Because Lydia,
the creative community is struggling right now.
It is.
Yeah,
yo, I was looking on them little programs because I was like, man, look, I can't get no gig. I'm freelancing out here, man. But I'm not the one that like sang one of the most popular Disney songs of all time. And I don't know why you don't tell people this. Tell them, Lydia. Tell the listeners what I'm talking about. You have to.
I guess he's talking about Lady and the Tramp.
She said, I guess.
I guess. I mean, come on. Lady and the Tramp is like one of the ultra like classic films of all time. But you sung like the song. Like that's like one of Disney's vault songs. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like,
it's a great song.
She's so modest. Why is she this way, Brian? Why?
Hey man, I'm glad, it makes my life easier. Shoot.
Oh wow.
I don't have to run PR for her, so yay.
Wow. I mean,
you know what?
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I used to tell myself years ago, like, like when you're younger and you're gonna like be known a little bit. So you practice your autograph. Don't tell me I'm the only one that did this.
That's good.
You didn't.
Mm-hmm. No, you're not. Yeah, that's real.
Okay,
that's some real stuff. Speak that thing.
So I got my little quick scratch down, like nothing, right? Like I even have a modified one where I'm just like being dismissive to people, and I'm just like here.
Oh, wow, you have different versions.
Wow. You were in the future. Jeez.
But no, so I used to tell myself, I used to be like, I hope that, and of course you can't plan life out like this, but I used to say, I hope that I can find someone prior to blowing up.
That's good.
Like because I feel like
interest.
Yeah. Like I hope I could be like, because I feel like if you have somebody that's there with you through the rise, it's easier than being somebody that's blown up and then having somebody, having people come along and then you wonder why they're around. You know what I mean?
That's a good
Have you thought
point.
about that?
That's a really good point. And it's kind of funny that you mentioned that. We, and I'm probably going to give another shout out to TV because we watch a lot of TV. But we recently have been watching the show Dave on FX. And I personally really enjoy the show. Yeah, the White Atlanta, for real. It is. It is. And I mean, it's perfect for what it is. But in a recent episode, they kind of touch on that a little bit, like what it's like to be with somebody who is like, oh man, I see them going. And then it becomes a thing of, am I supporting them or am I wrong for, I don't know, not as supporting them, or is it narcissist? Are they a narcissist, or am I just tripping, or am I jealous? Like there's that aspect. And even on the show Atlanta itself, there was a similar storyline where one of the characters was getting ready to blow up, and then how does that affect the relationship? Oh man, you used to do these things, but why aren't you being the significant other that I need you to be? Versus, are they just really like, am I tripping? Am I, in my head, or am I jealous, or am I feeling like I'm not doing enough? So it's definitely a good point.
Do you ever get those Hollywood? Because I know Lydia won't go to certain stores and stuff. I've seen that.
What? Wait a second. What happened?
You listen. See, I told you I'll be lurking. I'll be keeping up. So
yeah, I see.
remember you said that you was going to go out and you would like just try to get a few groceries. I don't know if this was the time that you said everybody was drinking up all the Canada Dries. And you was like, I distinctly,
It was,
and I think about this once a
yeah.
week. I think about this probably once a week. You posted a little video on your story on Instagram.
Yeah.
You were like, yo, why are you all buying up all the ginger ale? It's not going to sustain you.
No,
And
it's
so-
not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I think about
Baby
that once
had
a
thoughts
week.
about it too. Yeah.
But have you seen have you gotten those vibes from Lydia yet? Because she knows she's amazing. And
What
know that she
vibes?
knows. where she's just like, oh no, darling, I won't do that.
No.
I mean-
well, we'll see what Brian says.
I know this
We'll
is
see what
funny.
he
It's
says.
in my court, huh? Oh, dangerous moment set up here.
I'm
How do I want
sorry.
to answer this question? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, man. And she knows I wouldn't. She knows I wouldn't lie about it. Like that's honestly, and to be super serious, the thing about being in a relationship like ours is it really comes down to keeping the other person accountable. Like I always try to tell her, like, yo, that wasn't the best way to respond to someone, or
Yes.
hey, you should think that through, or whatever. Like I can't tiptoe around certain things, and she knows. Like, you know, ordinarily, I know they're kind of growing up. We always see these kind of tropes of how husbands have to, you know, oh man, you said that to your wife. Oh man, I'm like, dog, yes, I said it. I do not fear this woman. But at the same time, I want to do what I can to, like, I don't want her to be hung out to dry. You know, like we were in a long distance relationship.
But
so
I also request honesty from Brian too. Like,
yeah, that's true.
if I'm looking
Mhm.
crazy, if my hair looks crazy, if my outfit looks wild, I would like him to tell me before I make a fool out of myself. I'm not
Yeah.
that woman that doesn't want to hear the truth from their husband. And my parents were that way. And that's why I try to be that way too.
And vice
Right.
versa.
And that's what I was
Same.
going to ask.
Mhm.
Following up here, what were your all's, or what do you feel like were your all's like example of just what a strong like Black couple is? Because I find myself not thinking, like when I think about the future, I actually don't think about things like marriage and stuff. Like I legit will somehow justify in my mind, I'll be like, I just rather have a kid and by myself. I don't know where I find the justification, but I also, my mom was only married one time and then she was divorced. And for the most part, it was just us and her. You know what I mean? So
Right.
what were your examples of like, I know, you know, because Brian, you spoke about the tropes and everything. What were your examples growing up of like what a relationship should be?
Great question. I think that, you know, I asked you earlier about, you know, you being from Kentucky or from Alabama. So I know there is a little bit of an element of that is that's, you know, my background. You know, I'm from Birmingham, and, you know, I grew up seeing a lot of older Black folk who, and the reason I mentioned Birmingham, they saw some hard stuff together. You know what I mean? Like these
Right.
old folk down there saw segregation, they saw Jim Crow, they saw all that. So it ain't just a relationship. It's like, yo, this thing is bonded by by fire a little bit. So there were a lot of relationships that I saw. Like my own parents this year, they just celebrated their 36th year of marriage, and like,
See.
yeah, it's wild, you know.
You just don't see that often anymore.
You
know?
don't see it a lot. Like there was that, and then like I said, at my church, growing up, there were a lot of older Black couples together. So we was, oh, they're celebrating their 20 year, their 30 year, their 40 year, like, and it was so regular that in my mind, that's just kind of how I knew, like, when you get married, this is what it is. But I do know that in getting older, we as younger folk, like our younger generation, it's just a different way that we approach marriage and that we kind of look at it. Like, I know that there are, like, I know the divorce numbers. Clearly, they always telling Black people, you know, them divorce numbers is 50, 60, 70%. I'm like, we get it, but that's not everyone. And we want to do what we can to emulate the relationships that we saw growing up. And not just to be there for the sake of being there, but like to actually be there and be a fruitful relationship. Like pour into somebody and have them pour into you in return.
Right. And then Lydia, I know like you always bring up your parents sometimes on social media and stuff. Your mom,
Right.
Lydia's mom, guys, is like 21. Like, I don't even know how this is
Lord.
possible. She is. You can't tell me otherwise. I'm like, she just was able to like go out and buy a drink. She
You
looks
are
so
so funny.
youthful. But what was your example sort of growing up, Lydia?
Definitely my parents. They still act like teenagers. They're still crazy about each other.
And that's what I
yeah.
mean.
They're such a great example, and their friends, everybody got married young. Everybody was broke and couldn't afford a ring, but they was there for the love. They were like, I love you, so I'm going to marry you. And everybody got married at like 19, 20 and have been together for like 40 years. My parents just celebrated their 40-year anniversary, but they're still very much passionate about each other. They still do things together. They still try new things. They're adventurous. They learn technology well. They do everything, and they've always been a great example. And also their friends. Everybody's still married. I was blessed to see so many thriving couples, Black couples, that were my godparents, my best friend's parents, everyone's parents, and not everyone sees that. So I always saw great marriages, and that love and marriage was a wonderful thing. And I also had great Black male role models in addition to my father. My grandparents too, they were married for almost 60 years before my grandfather passed away. So that's all I know. And I know that's not typical for most people, especially in the Black community.
Right. And I think like, and it's just like, it's funny to me because just tying all this in. So we talked about like the Netflix thing. We're talking about marriage now. When I go on, that Netflix added a lot of Nollywood films, right?
I heard about that.
Yeah.
There are some really good ones on there too. I have to recommend y'all some. But
please,
what I find is that there are a lot of movies that are themed around marriage. And I think marriage in various like African countries and stuff is held at a higher standard than what we get in America, for example. Because of course we know there's like the systematic situation. I ain't even gonna dive in that hole right there, but like there's just like not that many examples. Do you think that if you didn't get exposed to that much, I guess what I'm trying to ask is how much of a factor do you think that played in your like decision making? Because some people can be like really rebellious and they're like, that's not what I want. But it seems like both of you have come to the conclusion that, you know what, this is what I saw growing up, and this is something that seems solid to me and fulfilling. So you guys kind of like went for it. Do you think like
I'm gonna go? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was that little girl that had the kitchen set, the baby, the fake wedding dress, the easy bake oven at like 2 years old. And I was that little girl. Go ahead.
Were you an only child?
Yep.
There it is.
Oh, okay.
Brian, so were you.
I mean, I'm just saying, though, like, yeah.
He tried to answer that, but didn't want to.
As if he's not. As if he didn't grow up as the only child.
Tell him your story.
I'm listening.
Okay, thanks. So
You ready
anyway,
for
I
that?
know that I was like a typical girly girl. I knew that that's what I wanted from a very young age. I wanted the wedding, I wanted the baby, I wanted the marriage. But even in growing up and seeing my parents and even their trials, they never went through anything. They were never on the brink of divorce or anything like that. But even just seeing that marriage wasn't sunshine and roses all the time, and seeing them get through things and change their communication, I still wanted all of that was included in marriage once I got old enough to see the intricacies of marriage and relationship. I still knew that's what I wanted. However, I will say, had I experienced a divorce or experienced something traumatic with my parents, I don't know if that would have changed my mind or not.
Right.
Some people it does, some people it doesn't. I don't think I'll ever know. But I do know that my mom teaching me the things that she taught me and telling me how to communicate with men and with my future husband and how to navigate certain situations and how to get out of certain situations and how just to be a good wife and a good partner definitely helped shape me to be the person that I am,
Right.
to meet Brian and have a successful relationship and know how to work towards a successful marriage too.
So
Yeah.
did speaking of meeting, did music bring you all together? Is that what happened?
It did, actually.
Yeah.
It did. It's kind of a funny story, but super long story short. As I mentioned, we started out long distance. I have been living here in LA for since 2008, maybe. Yeah, I got out here September 08.
You a
Hey, right
soldier.
before the recession. That's crazy.
Lord.
It factors in too, because when Lydia mentioned, like, she mentioned seeing certain relationships and them go through the high-low thing, like, we saw our share of those things, but it did bring us together because I was working for a TV production company in music, and one of my friends from college was like, "Hey man, you should check out my homegirl. She does music, whatever." I'm like, "Okay, whatever, guy." Because when you work in music and entertainment, everybody
Shady.
has a person that, hey man, I do music, man. Listen to my mixtape, man. I recorded it in the kitchen. I know. So yeah, man,
Lord.
it was a thing. And not to mention, and I always kind of joke with Lydia that same friend who introduced us, I think before this, he was trying to set me up with another friend of his, and it didn't work out, right? That was not the best idea, but whatever. Okay, we're here. We're in the future. So when he sent me her stuff, I'm like, all right, let me see if you're trying to be slick. But then I listened to her stuff and I'm like, man, this is pretty good. I was like, man, this is kind of straight. So I reached out to her. And we literally have been talking ever since. And Lydia, we both remember the day that we first spoke to each other and wanted to try to get married. It was on April 4th. So, yeah, man. Yeah, it literally
awesome.
is in the DNA of the relationship.
See, that's awesome. Anytime anybody asks me anything and they're trying to like recommend people to me or like, hey, you should check this out, or hey, can I send this to you? I'm always like, yo, I'm just music adjacent. I always say it like whatever I'm doing with it, I'm acting adjacent, man. I can't do anything.
Man, you never know. You know the funny thing about that though? Like, you really never know out here. Like, we hear stories every day like, oh man, why is that dude everywhere? He in this movie, that movie, that movie, that movie. And when you go through these people's history, you're like, wait a minute, this cat just got put on like 2 years ago? He got put on like 3 years. Like, you really never know. You can be chilling and your life, like, especially now as we're in kind of quarantine season, I'm sure some people are gonna blow up after this. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember making like a vision board. I think I was probably in like the 10th grade or something. And they had us make like little vision boards or whatever.
Shout out to the vision board.
Right. Shout out to the vision board. So what year was I in 10th grade? I'm a bit younger than y'all, thank God. But I'll just like
that's fine. You probably are.
I graduated in 2017. No, I lied.
Jesus
Christ.
God. Wait a minute. Graduated what?
I'm sorry, 2007. Ooh.
Wait, you graduated in 07?
I graduated high school in 2007.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I don't know where I got 2017 from.
So you're 3 years behind me, but you're probably like 5 years behind Brian.
How Lydia, what's that math? Right. We're only 1 year apart.
I graduated in 2004.
And I came out in 03.
Right.
Math major. Right. Good grief.
Look, she's like, I have a baby, man. I don't have to do that.
Yeah, man, she up there trying to fuzz the numbers. Man, you old. He must be like 10 years younger. I'm like,
But no. So I made a vision board when I was in 10th grade. I was just trying to get it into perspective before I went on. But I remember, if you remember back around the early mid 2000s, right?
Yeah.
That's when Tyler Perry was making his transition from like plays to movies.
Right.
And so I was like all for it. I was like, yeah. So I remember having a picture. There was I forget what magazine it was out of, but there was a picture of Tyler Perry. He had on a suit. He didn't even have a full beard at the time because it was early on. It was like Diary era, right? And then I had a picture of, I remember Raven-Symoné was like doing like 30 under 30 or something like that. But it was just like a bunch of people who I was looking up to at the time. Pharrell, people like that, right? And so fast forward, I still find myself looking at those same people almost in a very like backwards way because I'm comparing my strides to what they've done. And it's like there's no way you can take your own like thing and compare it to somebody like Raven-Symoné who's been like working for like most of her life.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I'm like, man, okay, so this is somebody who's probably like basically working by choice because they can retire now. And I'm like, oh gosh, this year in July I turned 30, and I'm just like, oh man, I ain't done anything. And so I find myself like, being like, oh, you ain't done shit yet, buddy. Do you ever have those moments being like entertainment and music? Like, do you ever have those moments of like, oh, you got to keep hustling?
Everybody has those moments.
Right.
No matter what your career is, because I think we have a tendency to compare ourselves to other people that are in the same age group, that have the same type of job. And we're like, well, wait a second. She's 30 and she did XYZ.
Right.
Yo,
I'm 30.
Have you ever looked at somebody and you was like, yo, you can't even do half the stuff I can do. I don't know what you even, how you get that?
Like every day, right?
Yes.
I'm like, but didn't you just learn how to tie your shoes like last week?
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's normal too, but what's for them is for them.
Oh, she preaching. I agree 1,000% with what Liz said, because these are conversations that we regularly have. Like when you're a creative or when you work in I think any field, it becomes very easy to compare. And I think we're in a weird place. Once again, our generation, we see people now that are, benefiting greatly. But in our minds, we're like, they didn't take the traditional route, and they're doing huge, but they didn't do, like insert any YouTube star. You're like, yo, they were just at home chilling and just kept doing videos. And now they're getting, these they're making bank. Or, you know, like I always look at my man Tom, who started MySpace. My man retired before the age of 30. Like,
Yo,
what a
was like
world.
27.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's doable, man. But I think there's a danger in that. And you say you're getting ready to turn 30. We know how real it is. Like when you're young, you're in like that high school and college year. You're like, man, by the time I'm 30, I'm gonna have a house. I'm gonna have like 4 cars.
man, listen.
You
Yo,
know,
I was supposed to at least have a house and like renting another house out. Like I had plans,
Snap.
man.
I think that it's kind of dangerous because, like, yes, you can have goals, but when those goals don't happen, you shouldn't beat yourself up over it,
Right.
you know. And I regularly try to practice that myself. Like, you know, I know people who have done great things, and me and Lydia talk about this. She literally knows people. Like, man, we were together when you moved to LA. And meaning, like, we knew them. We all ran in some circles. And now, oh, shoot, they done got signed by this label. They done got signed. Oh, man, they on that. Man, we did a show with this one. And they, you know, so it becomes easy to fall into that. But that kind of is a bit of a trap because it's dangerous and it's never ending. And you're going to end up beating yourself up when you don't get what you think that you should be getting.
Right. And do you think,
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lydia.
Oh, no, I'm just agreeing to all of that, pretty much.
I concur. But no, do you think, like, going back into the whole the Bamadelphia collective, which is yourself, Brian, and Lydia, do you think that having a teammate, not necessarily just like a relationship, but having someone, like you mentioned earlier, to hold you accountable, do you think that definitely like helps keep you on the right track? Or like, do you think somebody can really like, because I feel like this industry is so collaborative, right? Like you can't, I don't care what anybody said, it should be.
Right.
But when you're creative, you can't do anything alone. Whether it's just like a little project, you got to have like a team that's been like, oh yeah, I got you, I'll do this, or a network of some sort. But do you think it helps to have like that tag team partner where you can be like, yo, honey,
man,
what you think about this? Like how much of a factor do you think that is?
1,000%, I agree that yes, I think that, you know, the same way we all know the old expression, you know, coined by Hillary Clinton, you know, it takes a village to raise a child.
Oh, Lord.
It's not a Hillary Clinton.
I thought Big Mama said that.
Throwing it out there.
I thought Big Mama said that. Did Hillary say that?
You know, I know, right? But the same way
Big Mama said that while she was like stirring up her potato salad.
I know, right? Or cooking something that's probably gonna give everybody in the house diabetes.
You know,
but we ate it and it was amazing. I know, right? But the same way that expression is true, I think that it takes that community to push anyone forward, whether it's an artist or whether it's, you know, a singer, songwriter, musician, or whoever. You have to have good people in your circle. And what good people is, it's not just people that are going to encourage you. It should be people that keep you accountable. Hey man, that was kind of trash, bro. Oh man. Yeah. You might want to take that one back and put a little bit more. Like, those are really the people, because we can kind of tell when certain projects are released or when certain things happen, and you're like, dog, how many eyes were on this to let this go through and be the final project?
Exactly.
This is not.
You talking about Gucci? You talking about Gucci and Versace and all them people put out those.
I mean, but even that, that's a good point. Yeah, because
how you put out a monkey shirt like that? Like, come on.
You know, but that's why we have to be in certain rooms
with that name. Once you have like what is it called? A high-end brand couture name, you could put a red circle on a white shirt and charge $1,000, and people are gonna buy it.
They're gonna buy it.
Fendi dot shirt.
I know, like, right?
Get out of here.
Well, people that, and I think that is related, kind of a different convo. But yeah, like, I think that even in those situations, this is why a lot of companies are putting so much money behind having diversity and inclusion teams, because they don't want that bad press, because all it takes is one shirt and one tweet to just shift your whole sales for the rest of the year. But you have to have people around you that are going to uplift you, keep you positive, but also keep you on the straight and narrow. Like, hey man, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. Like, it matters. And I think unfortunately we're kind of at a place right now where we have become very, very self-sufficient, which is great. But with that self-sufficiency comes a bit of a hit on collaboration. You know, like you have to be willing and able to collaborate with people if you want the best product possible. So yeah.
Right. Now, speaking of collaborations and, you know, having a team and everything, you know, I actually extended the name of Bamadelphia. Did you know about this?
No.
What happened?
I extended the name of Bamadelphia. So
Lord.
Want me to tell you what I came up with?
I'm excited. Do we have to pay for it? Because
No, you can have it. You can have it.
I'm excited.
You heard it here first. So I was like, oh, how about Bamadelphia Wood? Because your baby was born in Hollywood.
Oh, wow. It's not bad.
She's a part of the group. She's a part of the group now. She's in there.
That's not bad. You got something. You got something with that one. Yeah.
Talk to me about parenthood, guys. Tell me how it's
the baby is so far. Currently hungry,
I hear her going.
So I'll let Brian take this.
Oh, all right, cool. I'll take it. Yeah, this is fun. That's you know what? That in a nutshell is the trade-off. What you just heard right there. We got a hungry, fussy baby. Sometimes it's like, hey man, can you get this one? All right, cool. And other times it's, hey, can you get the, you know, like we want to do the best that we can to make sure that the baby is sought after and good to go, but also that we're good. I know like both me and Lydia read a lot about, you know, all these, you know, how the dynamics of a relationship change once you have a baby. And I had a lot of people that told me about it. Like, look, man, things are going to be different. So just be advised, and that's cool. But Lydia will be the first one to tell you every day. I'm like, all right, I know we got a baby, but you got to make time to do some recording. We got to write some new, we got to get this new album out there, and we got to get all of these things because we still want her to, you don't have a baby and then your life just kind of stop. You know what I mean? Like you still want to pursue your dreams, and I want to see her live out her dreams and goals so she can get to the place where she can write people those dismissive autographs that you were talking about earlier. But,
just a big old L and
just woo. Thank you. Yeah, like
here.
But yeah, like I think that might be the biggest challenge is just finding a balance, man. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I won't keep you for too long, but I do want to say to you both, first I want to thank you for coming on here.
Of course.
And spending a little time with me.
So dope.
And being the first official guest on the Ubiquitous Blacks podcast.
We appreciate that.
We're honored, man. Shoot, people are asking us to do stuff. What?
Right. Honestly, like I thought of you guys like first. I had a list, right? And I was like, oh, who would be really good for this? Who's somebody I just enjoy like listening to or talking to or just admire? And so I was like, oh no, I got to So I was texting Lydia. By the time I text you, I had actually thought about it for like 2 months ahead of that. I was like, dang, we got to figure something out.
Yeah, we're honored by that, man, because we don't take it lightly when people actually care what we have to say. You could have been
not at all.
A lot of other places, but you know, it means a lot.
Now, I will say this, Brian. I do want to apologize because when I was in LA, I didn't get to see you because you were busy doing stuff.
Working.
But while I'm apologizing to you, I do want to say this to Lydia. And I said it to her before, but I'm going to say it again. You took me to that place and they served me that grass. It had no seasoning on it.
Wait a minute. Where was that?
I'm from the South.
Best breakfast place ever.
I'm from the South.
Wait a minute.
Yo.
What did you order?
Brian,
I thought you got chicken and waffles.
Brian,
where did y'all go?
Steampunk.
Where did we go? We went to some place And
What
it was
did
like a
you
little
order?
package.
I don't remember what he ordered.
I had no. She was like, try out the chicken and waffles, yada yada. And I was like, cool, but it come with a side, right? Now I'm from the South, so it's just certain things. Like I know when you in LA, you got to carry your stuff with you if you want some flavor.
Oh my god!
Depending on where you go, but I hear you.
Depending on where you go, because you know how it is. But she was like, I remember looking Lydia in her eyes. And so I seen the whites of her eyes. This is how close it was. I seen the whites, I seen the brown eyes, and I seen the pupils.
Oh snap!
So we was standing right shoulder to shoulder, and I was like, "What should I get for a side?" And she was like, "The grass is good."
I did not
Wait a minute.
I said no such a thing. I probably said it wasn't the potato.
It wasn't
probably got the
it wasn't grass.
Healthy.
It was kale.
You went kale over potatoes? Yo, that's a bit of a rookie mistake.
Okay,
right
let me
there.
take no. Here's what I was under pressure.
Okay.
Okay. I was meeting up with Lydia. This was one of the first time we really met up, and so we just had like a little window of time. And like Lydia's so Hollywood, so I was like, I can't just be like pigging out and like having potatoes and stuff. And she was like, oh no. So I didn't really want to. I would have got the potatoes if she wasn't. If she.
I don't care what you eat.
Let me tell you something, because if we eat over there, we are going for it.
Pretty much.
Yo, I was like, man, come on. So I just was trying to play it cool, but grass, man.
The next time you come to LA, we'll be sure. Well, hopefully
that's our favorite
of our
place.
That is like our jam.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
You must have just got a thing that's
he
weird.
didn't like the kale, and that's
it was kale.
He should have got
but
the
I'm
potatoes.
just calling it unseasoned grass.
Yeah,
they
but
basically
got the potatoes.
I should have, but they basically just took like the kale. They like shredded it up by hand or something, and they just laid it on the plate in a fashion so that it was cute. And so I was like, this looks presentable. And they brought it over there. I was like, this is very presentable.
I mean, but if you eating kale, you gotta know it's kale.
They not gonna season it like greens.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be greens. You want it soul food starring
you get some onions
Vanessa Williams in it. Yeah, like
you gotta put your own salt and pepper in there.
Yeah,
and that's what I had to do. But I remember distinctly at some point I looked up at Lydia. I was like, "Do you mind if I spit this out? Like, I can't."
She ain't cooking.
She was like, "Boy."
Should have gotten the potato.
But the chicken and waffles was amazing.
Yeah, they're blazed. You have to really you have to prepare your mouth for kale. You understand? Like it's its own
your mind too.
What?
I was like, man, I try to accidentally spill some syrup onto it and see what that did.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, this is
get out of here.
I'm gonna be listening. Like, man, that sounds the most gross. Ella, it's not it, y'all. He got the wrong side. We get the potatoes.
Roasted potatoes.
Yeah, it should have been potatoes.
But before we go, I know right now y'all in the quarantine, but do you have anything you're looking forward to in the future when this all subsides and we finally get a vaccine and people are in better health and doing better and shows resume? Because I plan on getting back on the road. I can't do this day job. Like, for me. What do you all got? I know you said you try to still write stuff and, work on stuff while you're, at home. What are you all looking forward to after this?
Going to the park. Like, I never thought I would want to go hiking in my life. Yes, the park, the beach. Yeah. I mean, things that we took for granted, for real. Shoot. Like, I mean, we can drive there and sit in the car, but...
Woof.
See, I would ask you, I would be like, is there anything you want to promote? Got anything coming up? But I don't know how, you just... don't get me started. Let's not end it like this.
We working on this album, so that'll be a
Who got an album coming out? Who got an album coming out? Come
Well,
on. What's
Probably a single first.
at some point we're gonna try to get her a single out. Like we actually, the funny thing about the quarantine is it kind of kick your butt to, all right, man, you got the time, so you better do it. So we got her some gear, and hopefully we'll be recording a little bit more stuff and at least laying down some ideas. So hopefully by the end of the year or next year.
Yeah. I got a couple of lyric videos and stuff lined up that I'm doing.
Good.
So you let me know if you all need a little lyric video where you put that single out. I got you. I ain't doing that.
We got witnesses out here. That's what's up. It is on the record.
I'm gonna need that quarantine discount.
Oh, look, you can pay me in food stamps. Whatever.
Wow. I'm gonna pay you in Kale. Just don't pay you in Kale. That's what it is.
Don't pay me in Kale. You can pay me in Kale if it's in there with some mustard and some turnip greens. Mix it up.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my god!
This cat trying to
take.
It's
so good talking to you all.
It's the best ever.
All right, we'll see. We'll find out. But it was fun.
I swear.
Listen. Everybody knows me. You can find me. You can find me on social media at TeaRon World. And you can also follow the podcast at Ubiquitous Blacks on Facebook and Instagram. Follow it on Instagram because I'm trying to get those followers up. But you can also follow Bamadelphia. Do you all have go ahead and drop your handles. I ain't gonna do it for you.
Yeah, Lydia, drop the handle.
Wow. Yep. Our Instagram is at Bamadelphia. Very simple. Bama.
Hey, how you spell that?
BAMADELPHIA.
I ain't say get an attitude with it.
On Facebook at Bamadelphia. You can follow our individual Instagram pages. I am at Lydia René with an S at the end. LYDIARENES. Brian.
That's Instagram, isn't it?
I said Instagram pages. Thank you so much.
Hey man, you gotta hold the pickles and hold the letters because
I can't.
See, that's quarantine right there. You see how
Brian is at Chad the Cool Cat
I'm at Chad the Cool Cat.
It's
at Chad the Cool Cat on Instagram and Twitter, and that's usually it. Those two. All right.
Well, we'll catch up with you soon, and we'll be stalking your pages to see any more recommendations that you all
okay.
Hey, we'll have some heaters for y'all soon. We still watching junk.
I'm ready.
We are.
I'm ready.
We are.
Well, I'm out of here. I will see you all soon. When I get back to LA, we got to do something, okay?
We'll do it. I'll be around. I promise.
Look us up.
All right, y'all be safe and stay out of people's face and wash your hands and everything else.
Always.
I'm out. Bye.